What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We have now gotten into this is now I believe, the fifth video in the series. We're going to be getting into the concept of knowing the score. There's a couple quotes that you want to really be aware of. There's a couple quotes you want to be aware of. One of them being is that what gets measured gets accomplished. What gets measured gets accomplished. Okay. What gets measured gets accomplished, guys, and whatever you focus on grows. So you must actually know the score, right? We're going to get into knowing the score right now. Okay, with that being said, here we go. Let's get right into it. So, guys, I remember a time, and I'm going to be sharing you specifically when it comes to trading. We're going to give you something applicable to this, right? And this is kind of goes in line with the trading journal, the trading plan, which you'll learn more about. But you want to keep track of a few things. What do you want to keep track of? You want to keep track of, how much money is coming in, to your account, right? You want to know your income. You want to know your expenses. You want to have a money plan, what's going in and out of your account to what percentages. You want to have percentages, right? You want to know, what is your trading plan? What is your trading journal? What about the pips, right? What are the percentages that you're knowing? Like, what are you doing on a daily basis? What about weekly? What about monthly? What about yearly? What is your actual plan? How can you measure it, right? Because what gets measured gets accomplished, right? And one of the great mentors who made tens of millions of dollars, Alex Morgan, what he said was, he says, plan out life, right? Write out life as you would like it to be. Write out life as you would like it to be in insane detail. Write out life as you would like it to be in insane detail. Write out life as you would like it to be in insane detail. Write a life as you would like to be in insane detail. Okay. And one of the best ways to do this is to track it. You want to track it, guys. So you want to keep track of, for example, guys, if you're trading, right? And we're going to get into trading plan as these will kind of overlap. Many of these trainings will overlap, but we're going to allow this to flow rather than making it have to be like, oh, I have to be this video first, this video second, this video. Like, if it's going to flow this way, we're going to allow it to flow this way. And then right now it's flowing. So guys, we're going to get into trading plan right now, and we're going to keep track of the trading plan because this is a trading course. At the end of the day, video series you're getting access to, right? So the first step of the trading plan, there's 4 steps, right? One is going to be what pair are you trading? What pair or what pairs are you trading, right? Number 2 is going to be what time are you trading? Number 3, what is your setup? And number 4, what is your management plan? And then that leads us into the trading journal. We're kind of outlining this. We can go deeper into this, and we'll go much deeper into this, guys. This is an outline. So I'll let you know, this is an outline. We're at the very beginning, basic steps of this. We're going to make sure we give you everything that is needed, right? And your feedback is helpful because this is the beta version. This is the beta version. This is the first version of this. So it will only improve as you guys go through this, as you guys give me feedback on what would make it better, how could make it look better, professional brand, all that stuff. Like, how can we make it look better? But we're just gonna get the information out there so you guys can use it, right? So trading journal, you're gonna want to keep track of, you're gonna keep track of, what trades are you taking, right? And really, what the result is, right? Why you took it, and what really is gonna happen is you're gonna identify what's called your profit gap, which is a Mark Douglas concept. You're gonna identify, are you actually executing your trading plan? Like, are you executing your trading plan? And if you're not, to what degree? To what degree are you not? Like, to what degree can you improve? And that's the key, guys. And there's this process. And I remember this time, at my best of trading Forex, in any of my, most profitable seasons of Forex that I've ever experienced, this is my 5th year now of trading, which isn't every season because I'm not perfect, but the best seasons that I've created, right, in which I've made of 5,000 a month, or 10,000, or 20,000 a month, or even one time even over 100,000 in a month, right? What's happened is we're very specific on the score. We know every trade we take, we know the pips we caught, we know the profit we experienced, we know what we lost, and what's most important of all, guys, is you have to be real with yourself. This is the hardest part. You have to be real with yourself about where you are. This is like the hardest part because of trading. There's so many gray areas. Like, if you enter a random trade or you stack or you over leverage or you have a random lot size, like that stuff is hard to keep track of. Like, and this is in more, like I said, this may be better positioned later on because this is more advanced as well. Because if you're a beginner, like if you've never traded before, this may not even make sense to you. But if you traded before, you'll know what I'm talking about. Right. So perhaps we'll put the basic tradings in the beginning and this will be later on. But guys, like check this out, right? If you know, right, and if you know exactly and specifically, okay, if you know, you gotta know where you are, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's say your plan is, you know what, I'm gonna trade gold only. This is like almost an exact example for me. And I'm gonna trade 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And my setup is I'm gonna trade liquidity, I'm gonna trade order blocks, I'm gonna look for candle confirmation, I'm gonna look for, you know, risk to reward. That's what I'm gonna do. And then my management plan is, let's say I'm gonna do a 1.0 lot. I'm gonna risk max 0.5%. I'm gonna go break even at 1-to-1. You know, whatever the rules are, right? Risk to reward is gonna be 1-to-2 to 1-to-6, just for an example. And then that's gonna be that. That's the plan, right? So the trading journal is like, hey, like, oh, I entered at 10 p.m. and it won, but I didn't follow my plan. And then I did it again the next day. I entered at 9 p.m. and I lost. And then like I got mad about it and I revenge traded and I lost again. And then the next day I was still emotionally upset about it. I was wanting to make up for what I lost. So I actually entered at 7:30 and like I slept in that day and like I didn't, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Like that stuff is you want to track it. Because I know guys, when you're unorganized, it's hard to keep track because you might just have one day, 1 week, and it becomes a habit. You know, because as the great Aristotle once said, is that we become what we repeatedly do, right? Because what we do one day is often when we go unconscious is what's going to happen the next day automatically. And the next day will look exactly like the same day. So you may experience this. You may have a win streak of you may win 20 and lose 3 and you're on fire and you're doing amazing. And then you may have a time where you lose 11 in a row, you know, so you don't really know, right? And this is why Mark Douglas talks about the profit gap, right? And he says, execute your trading plan based off a series of 20 trades, right? And don't look at it. So you set up your trading plan, right? And you're going to lose 3 trades in a row. And you're like, damn, I got to change this plan. I'm doing something wrong. Or damn, what's going on? I lost. And the truth is you didn't do anything wrong. You probably just didn't use the right lot size. You probably over leveraged. You probably took a random trade. You didn't organize it. It wasn't tracked. Or you do one of my biggest mistakes that whenever I fall into that pattern would be like entering something randomly that I didn't account for. And then I lost track of it and, that type of stuff. So that's stuff you want to make sure you avoid, right? And you want to know yourself. Like I said, you got to be real with yourself about where you are. And one of the things I've found, is that a lot of times in the first few weeks of being this organized, you may mess up a lot. You may mess up a lot and you may mess up to a degree of like, damn, like, bro, like and this is one thing that's happened to me many times throughout my trading career is I'll look on paper, I'll be like, I'm up 500 pips this week. And then in my trading account, I'm somehow negative. How is that possible? Or, maybe I'm up 200, maybe I'm up, sometimes even the opposite will happen. I'm down 50 pips on paper, but somehow I'm positive. And like, how does that possibly happen? It happens is because you're using random lot sizes, random risk reward. You may have lost 3 trades in a row. You're down 100 pips, and you may have over leveraged and caught 50 pips, but you did 5 times the lot size and you made up for it, right? That type of stuff is very unpredictable. It's very hard to track that. It's very hard to be consistent when you do that stuff. So the key here of the trading journal is to be like, I'm going to use the same lot size in every trade. I'm going to go for a specific amount of pips every week, and I'm just going to execute it. Right, one of the greatest traders, if not the greatest ever of all time, Michael J. Hellison, ICT. What he talks about is like, hey, he takes, to this day, he still looks for, I believe it's either 100 pips a week or 200 pips a week, one or the other. And he's not looking for the swing. He's not taking it because he knows the math. Guys, and I'm going to get into the math a little bit because we are on the score. And I'm going to clear this off, so screenshot it. And go ahead and reverse back and screenshot if you need to. Right, but let's look at this, guys. Let's really look at this. Let's really look at the math here. And I actually did a full training on this, and it's on YouTube already. We may add this video into the series. Right, we may actually add this video if we remember. Right, but if you look at the math, right, if you're looking at, hey, I'm going to go for 100 pips a week or 200 pips a week, right? You just know, like, if I have a 0.10 lot, that means I'm going to get anywhere from $100 to $200 per week. And I know that same exact 100 to 200 pips a week is the same exact I'm going to use for a 0.20 lot, which is going to be $200 to $400 a week. And this is the same exact lot I'm going to use for 0.50, same exact pips for a 0.50 lot, right? Which is going to be, you know, the math, right? Do the math, right? $500 to $1,000 a week, which is the same exact move. It's the same exact setup. It's the same exact trading plan, is what I'm saying. It's exactly the same. There's nothing different. The only difference is your lot size. Okay, and so on and so forth. Then it can get, and maybe you go deeper. And they're traders. I know this is not like a super advanced, like make millions and millions of dollars, guys. And I'm not claiming that because I haven't made millions of dollars yet. But I believe I will, and I believe you will also someday. I believe we all will. I believe we all have the ability to, and we all can. Okay, because we know who has, and we can learn that stuff, right? So that's just an example, right? 100 pips a week, 200 pips a week. It's the same exact numbers, right? So you want to know a couple things. You know, what is your maximum drawdown you're willing to take on your account? What is the maximum drawdown? You have to know this. You have to write this down, and it's got to be in plain sight, right? Because what is out of sight is out of mind. Out of sight equals out of mind, right? Strange thing, the words you think about most of the time. So if you know your trading plan, it's in plain sight, right? And what I've done is, and I'll put the trading plan on the wall, and right in front of me, right where I'm trading. And sometimes what I'll do, like if I'm traveling, I'll put it right on my chart, my trading plan right on the chart, so I can see it. And my trading journal in Google, and there's a couple ways you can keep this, right? So a trading journal, you can keep it in a notebook, right? You can keep it on a whiteboard, or you can keep it on an Excel sheet, or you can do all three. There's really no wrong answer. There's maybe another way you can do it. What I found to me that works best for me is to actually do it all. Put it in plain sight, what's important, and then put the minor details in the notebook and the Excel sheet, right? And then to put the actual put the important stuff on the whiteboard. That's what you want to do. You want to put the important stuff on the whiteboard. Okay, important stuff's going to be on the whiteboard. Why? Because it's going to be in plain sight, and it's going to program your subconscious mind. It's going to program your subconscious mind. So that's what you're going to want to do as well. So that's going to be the trading journal. So you're going to want to keep the math. You're going to keep the math. You're going to know, what's the maximum drawdown you're going to take, right? And you're going to want to know not only the maximum drawdown, you're going to know how many pips, right? How many pips are you going to risk, right? Not only per trade, right? But also maybe per day, right? Per week, per month. And you want to have what I like to call is, disaster control, right? Because with trading, a lot of us, we all know how to trade, right? But what happens oftentimes is when things are going wrong, it's a slippery slope, and we can dive into that darkness very quickly. So disaster control is like, what is the max I'm going to risk per day, per week, per month? Because we know whenever we're following our trading plan and we're executing things properly, we're not going to really risk that much on the account. It's not really going to happen. We're not over leveraging, but we may have that one day where we lose once, we overtrade, we revenge trade. And then what happens is we don't have a disaster control plan. And the next thing you know, we wiped out a month's profits in 2 days. And then that's what we want to avoid as a trader, because one of the greatest traders I know, one of the mentors I know who's made over 7 figures trading, he says there's 4 types of trades. There are 4 types of trades, and you want to avoid one of them. There are big wins, right? There are big losses. There are small wins, right? And there are small losses. And if you can just eliminate the big losses, you're going to be a consistently profitable, successful trader trading Forex. And that's what we know. That's what we know. And I think we all know this. It's just key to have the disaster control plan. Have a disaster control plan and to have it in plain sight. And I'm going to quote David Emanite, right? Which is another guy who's made tens of millions of dollars. And one of his famous quotes is that if you know the enemy, you can defeat the enemy. If you know the enemy, you can defeat the enemy. So you may know, okay, the enemy is Pornhub. The enemy is random scrolling on social media. The enemy is eating really big meals late at night. The enemy is not keeping track of my goals. The enemy is, maybe it's sleeping in. Whatever it is for you. Whatever it is for you. Maybe it's you get distracted and maybe it's drugs. I don't know. Maybe it's whatever it is, right? If you know the enemy, you can defeat the enemy, right? If you know the enemy, you can defeat the enemy. And what Grant Cardone says, right? Grant Cardone, he's someone who's made hundreds of millions. Even he's created a real estate portfolio of over $1 billion. And what he says is, he talks about knowing the score. He talks about knowing the number. If you avoid the money avoids you, right? If you avoid it, if you don't know the numbers, if you don't track it, it's going to avoid you as well. But if you focus on the money, you're going to keep track of it, and it's going to grow, right? Because whatever you track, it grows. Whatever gets measured gets accomplished, right? Whatever you track grows, and whatever gets measured gets accomplished. So you have to know what the score is so that you can focus on pushing the score up with your mind. I'm going to focus on pushing the score up with your mind. And I remember, in times throughout my career, I'll print out screenshots of profits trading, put it on the wall to train the subconscious mind to enter trades that are in profit. Okay, because the action step of entering a trade comes from the thought of entering a trade, which comes from the feeling. And if you're looking at images of profit, you're going to be on the vibration of being in profit, which is going to attract the thoughts of what to do and when to do it, and what gets you the actual result, right? So that's actually hacking your subconscious mind to actually achieve success, right? So that's going to be knowing the score, right? You're going to want to avoid the big losses. Out of sight is out of mind, right? Out of sight is out of mind. So specifically, right? Let's get specific here. What exactly are you tracking? What is everything you're tracking? If you look at it Monday, right? If you look at Monday, if you look at Tuesday, if you look at Wednesday, if you look at Thursday, if you look at Friday, right? You're looking at, okay, how many trades did I take? What trades did I take? What was the result? How many pips did I take? Did I win or lose? Right? Any notes on there? That's simple as it needs to be. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're going to have, okay, well, Monday we did gold. We caught 100 pips. We won. And then our notes is, we closed early. The take profit was actually, right? That's going to be a note. And then you're going to keep that in mind for next week. And then on Tuesday, here's what you did on Tuesday. You took a gold sell, you lost 20 pips, and then you took another gold sell and you lost 30 pips. Or let's say, and then the total for that day was minus 50. What was the notes? Entered early, re-entered, wasn't patient, it wicked out, and then it went the other way. And then it went my way, right? That's like an actual something that will happen. There's like, you'll enter early and then it'll come back, and then stuff like that. And then let's say Wednesday, let's say Wednesday is break even. Wednesday was a break even, right? And the note is, it went 100 pips and I didn't scale partial profits, right? And then Friday is like, I didn't enter anything. So what you're going to do with that information, this is what you do on the weekends, is you're like, hey, you know what? I just realized that most of the time it goes and hits my take profit. And I've had this habit of closing early. So then you think to yourself, why am I closing early? And why don't I hold it all the way? And then you adjust on the week, right? On a weekly basis. And you back test on a weekly basis. Like, okay, I'm closing early, or maybe I'm losing back-to-back trades. So then you adjust your trading plan. You say, you know what? After two losses in a row, I'm going to be done for the day. I'm gonna recenter myself. I'm gonna go watch a video, whatever, right? Stuff like that. You're gonna get back charged, and you're gonna say, you know what? If I lose 5 in a row, I'm gonna take next week off. I'm just gonna take a break, right? Because you guys, we know how this is. You get in the habit of doing something, you start doing it unconsciously, and when in something like trading, your emotions get involved. And you're either on the frequency of experiencing money come into reality, or you're on the frequency of needing it to come in. And there are two different frequencies. You want to be on the frequency of gratitude, not versus lack, right? Gratitude versus lack. Those are the two frequencies that you want to experience. Okay, or that those are the two. Or in other words, love versus fear. Love versus fear. Okay, love versus fear. Right. So a major source that I'm going to plug you guys into right now is actually Mark Douglas, right? Mark Douglas, and he has 2 major books that he's published. They're bestsellers. He's a trading psychology coach. He actually passed away, but you have The Disciplined Trader, right? The Disciplined Trader, and you have Trading in the Zone, right? And some of the best traders that I know, guys, the traders that have come into my organization, that have learned this stuff, the ones that have made 50,000 or made 100,000, or they've made profits consistently, or even the people, and it's not always about the big numbers. I mean, even the people that have made, 100 or 500 or 1,000 a month, for 3 to 6 or 12 months straight. Like even those numbers, I mean, it's almost more impressive to make 1,000 a month, 12 months straight, than to make 100,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 all at once, right? Because it shows discipline, it shows consistency. And the people that I have seen, right, that have been successful, and we've seen hundreds of people do this, is that they had a trading plan, they tracked their trades, they got good entries, they knew where their stop losses are, they knew their rules, guys. And we've had over 20, 30 people in a room that we do the same exact trade at the same exact time. We all make money at the same time, and everyone's excited. We've taken loss together, win together. That stuff happens, right? But at the end of the day, it's really about executing properly a plan. It's about executing a properly a plan. Trading is just like any business. Not every single trade is going to win, but you do know a percentage of them will. And the thing is about trading versus other businesses is like you have this edge over the market. It's not only your setup, it's not only your strategy, but it's your risk to reward ratio. I mean, you can be wrong. I mean, there's not many industries where you can be wrong more than you're right and you're still a winner. Like in baseball, guys, if you hit a 300 batting average for your career, you're in the Hall of Fame. You could lose 7 out of 10 times in baseball and you're a Hall of Famer. Right? And that's really what trading is like. That's what trading is like, guys, with a risk to reward ratio. Let's just say for 1 to 3. I mean, 1 to 3, guys, if you lose 7 times, right? Let's say you risk 1% of trade, you're minus 7%. But if you win those 3 times, right, times 3% is going to be plus 9%. So you can go 3 for 10 and you're still up 2%. Okay, if you're 2% on a 10,000 account, that's $200. If you're 2% on a 100K account, that's $2,000. If you're 10% on a 200K account, that's $4,000. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't have to flip your account. You don't have to get lucky. It's really math. It really is math. Trading is math. You got to know the actual risk to reward ratio. Risk to reward ratio, which actually gets us into the next segment of this series, right? The next segment of this series, which we're going to get into next, is actually going to be risk to reward. Actually going to get into risk to reward.